people are coming in.
All right, I gotta go, man. I just wanted to make sure y'all are in the house. Okay? Bye.
Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, actually. Time has gotten away. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And so, first point of order, this is a Baptist church. We do talk back, so you are allowed to make noise. So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Amen. And so I want to welcome you here. I am Reverend Dr. Lisa Maxine Goods. I'm the senior pastor here at Shiloh Baptist Church. We are grateful for all of those who have come out to this first of two sessions. And so before we get started, want to start with a point of order. Just so you know, if you need to use the restrooms, if you go out either of these doors and down the hall, the third door on your left will be the women's restroom. You will see the sign, and right around the corner from that is the men's restroom. There are also two restrooms located downstairs. If you go out any of those doors and down the stairs, the men's room is on the left, the women's room is on the right. Should you need anything, any of our volunteers are here to assist you. GCC is a faith-based organization. We are interfaith, people of many faiths, so we do usually start with a word of interfaith prayer. And so if you are so inclined, would you join us? Dear God, creator, sustainer of all things and all people, God, we thank you for this time you've gathered us together. God, as we enter this conversation about the mental health needs of our community, may our conversation be fruitful, may it be constructive, may it have a spirit of cooperation, and may we find your divine presence that aids us to move forward in ways that benefit our neighbors and our community. This is our prayer. Amen. So again, I'm Reverend Dr. Lisa Maxine Goods. I have the privilege of being the pastor of this magnificent church, Shiloh Baptist Church, the oldest Black Baptist church in the city of Cleveland. Shiloh is an active member of Greater Cleveland Congregation, and I serve on the strategy team. GCC is a nonpartisan, interfaith, grassroots social justice and power building organization comprised of 36 houses of worship and community organizations throughout Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, and Northeast Ohio. For 176 years, Shiloh has been working in Cleveland and the central neighborhood doing the work of faith and justice. At Shiloh, we aim to do real, relevant, and redeeming ministry that matters. Why am I saying this? Not to have a commercial for my church, but because we are real people redeemed by God who address relevant issues. And today, that relevant issue for each and every one of us in this room is the mental health needs of the residents, our neighbors, our family, and our friends. And so in the tradition of the Black church, that's where you would say amen.
Amen.
So before we move forward, I want you to do something for me. I want you to look around this magnificent sanctuary. In particular, I want to point out that when you look around in the stained glass, you will see Jewish iconography because this was formerly B'nai Hesheron Synagogue. And so they built this edifice in 1906. And then we Shiloh, who had been in this community since 1849, purchased it in 1922, moved in 1926. But we did not remove that iconography. We added the Christian symbols, the crosses you see. We have African American artwork behind these banners. And this is a symbol of our shared humanity, that we coexist in this space. And so as we come together today, our hope is that in this place, we will be able to find ways that we can coexist for mental health. Shiloh literally means a place of rest, a place of peace, and today it is our hope that this is a place of hope and reconciliation. Somebody ought to say amen.
Come on, amen.
And so our hope is that this will be a place of reconciliation and cooperative solution building in our conversations around the mental health needs of our community. This is a place of reconciliation, and we come to move forward in a spirit of cooperation and coexisting for the good of our communities, for the least of these, and for those who desperately need the mental health services that we all know can exist in this community. Amen. And so with that being said, I want to introduce our panelists. I want them to introduce themselves. I'm not going to do that. And so if we can just start down at the end with Dr. Doty, and then we will move forward.
It should be on.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Elena Yanchar. I am the chair of psychiatry at the centers. I am a family medicine physician, a psychiatrist, and an addiction medicine provider.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nick DeFranco. I'm a peer supporter with the centers, obviously, and I started in June of last year, and I'm so excited and passionate about the work we've been doing with our peers. So.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Leon Harris. I am the Executive Vice President of Quality Improvement and Evaluation at the centers.
Hello, my name is Eric Morse. I'm the President and CEO at the centers.
Good afternoon. I'm John Lentz, Pastor Emeritus of Forest Hill Church Presbyterian in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and former President of GCC and former member of the strategy team.
Good evening, all. My name is Correll McDaniel. I am the Executive Director of Life Recovery Ministries and Associate Minister at the Olivet Institutional Baptist Church.
It should be on.
Thank you. I'm Anita Arrington Bay, and I'm a member of the Greater Cleveland Congregations.
So I think
Maybe it
No,
was.
it's not on. I need to say it again.
yes.
Okay, Anita Arrington Bay, a member of the Greater Cleveland Congregations.
Okay, thank you. So we want to start this conversation. I want to ask Pastor John Lentz, if you can walk us through GCC's campaign for the Crisis Diversion Center, its purpose as well as its challenges, because we want to kind of track the trajectory on why we are here, how we came to this moment, and GCC's involvement.
Thank you very much. What a great honor it is to be in this sacred space for this sacred conversation. I always want to begin, particularly when I am part of GCC, talking about this behavioral diversion center, a story about a dear friend, a young man, Ben, member of our congregation, who in his mid-20s was struggling with drug addiction and mental illness. He was picked up on the streets of Cleveland one night and taken to the jail, where he stayed for at least 2 nights with no medication. At the end of that time, he was just let out on the street, and thankfully his family found him. And I remember when GCC was in the really meat of its campaign, his parents, Ben's parents, came up and said, whatever we need to do, we want to do it, because if a center had been around for Ben, it would have changed everything. My friends, indeed it would have. I'm sad to say that Ben passed about 5 years ago, and I always want to honor his memory by saying that's why I'm here today. That's why I'm up here. Not because I'm emeritus of anything, or not because I have some moral persuasion as a pastor, although I hope I do. It's because of Ben, and I want you to remember Ben too, because that's why we're really here. Greater Cleveland Congregation has been a leader in bringing the Diversion Center to Northeast Ohio since 2015. And if you want a detailed timeline of everything that GCC has done in these last 15 years, we have one of those. And if I was going to read through it, we'd be here till 8 o'clock just on its own. So I'm not going to do that. But I want you to know that we have fought tirelessly for a crisis center in Northeast Ohio for over 11 years. Our key leaders, Lisa, you've been, Dr. Goods, we shouldn't be familiar, I apologize. Dr. Goods and others, you've been at this table and been in a leadership position, and I know Pastor Joanza Colvin from the Olivet Institutional Baptist Church. I see my friend Donna Weinberger out in the crowd today, and Ryan Wallace. These are the leaders that have been in front of this movement during all that time. And we have had countless meetings. I've been to at least 3 with 1,000 people gathered. We have met many times with at least 2 and maybe 3 county executives. We've had meetings over the last 10 years with 3, maybe 4 CEOs of the Adams Board. We've got our contacts both at the state, the county, the city, the foundations. For 10 years, we have been working tirelessly to bring this about. And we got this close. We are this close. And we had everybody in agreement. The Adams Board, the county council, the city government. Do you know the state has given $6.8 million for this project? And the Adams Board said, sure, let's do this. Let's get this going. We'll supervise it. And they first, as I remember, went to Metro Hospital. And that didn't work out so much. So they went looking, and they found probably the best and finest organization around this issue that is in Northeast Ohio, and that is the centers. And I'm honored to be, come on, give it up for the centers. And I'm honored to be at the table with some of the key leaders from that wonderful organization this afternoon. Don't forget, the Adams Board came to the centers to say, let's get this done. Construction is happening as we speak. This is scheduled to be open and in operation by September. I mean, we're in March, so today's the 3rd month, that's the 9th month. That's like 6 months away. We're ready. We're pumped. We got the leadership, we've got it going, and then all of a sudden we're told, oops, we don't have the funding. So something's not right about this. And what we want you to hear tonight is a new vision of how we can bring this apart. Unfortunately, we're always getting fall back into the trap of either or thinking. Well, we got to do this or we got to do this. We only have money for this and we can't do this. And what happens is we put good people and good institutions and people who should be partners, we start making them on either sides of this question. It's about time we moved on from either or to both and. So, come on, I love that. And so Greater Cleveland Congregation has been at this work for 10 years, and we are going nowhere.
John, just want to follow up on one short question. With the existing diversion center that GCC initially initiated, what challenges have there been that?
Yeah, thank you for that. In 2021, I believe, GCC really was there to cut the ribbon at the diversion center on 55th Street. It wasn't everything that we had hoped for, but sometimes just to move us in the right direction, that was a wonderful opening. Tremendous people giving their time and talents to that center. As I remember, there was ongoing issues about who got to be dropped off there. And that was a little bit of a confusion and a little bit of a hindrance, and who could make references and who could walk in. And so that was a bit of an obstacle, but I think we're continuing to work on that. And as far as I know, the intake has gone much more smoothly in the past than in the past.
Thank you. I asked that question because I want to move to Eric Morris, who is the CEO of the centers. And Eric, I want to ask you to tell us about the evolution of the Behavioral Crisis Center, the national landscape locally, and how the centers became involved. What exactly is a behavioral health crisis center, and why is it important when we think about some of the differences between the diversion center and so forth?
Well, thank you, Dr. Goods. And thank you for hosting this event, and thank you to GCC for gathering people together and putting this event together. Yeah. GCC and the centers have worked together for quite a while now on several different fronts, and it's always a great pleasure. So, behavioral health crisis centers, when I first got introduced to them, was through the Arizona model. And Arizona had to put these in place because of a lawsuit and an order by the Arizona Supreme Court that said they weren't treating people with behavioral health conditions fairly. And so the response to that was to create these behavioral health crisis centers that would help deal with people's crisis when they have them. They really developed the model, and a couple of main parts about the models. First of all, never turn anyone away. Another important component is that it's very peer-oriented. So though there are clinicians on site, doctors, social workers, most of the staff are actually peers. And the reason for that is because we know that peers can really help people in their recovery journey, that people can hear from someone with shared experience much better than they can sometimes hear from a professional. So that's another key part of these centers. When I say you take whatever comes through your door, I mean that. So anytime the police drop someone off, you never turn them away. You never say, this person doesn't fit our criteria. You accept that person, you welcome that person in, and then you figure out what that person needs. And if the crisis center is not what they need, then we take responsibility for finding what is it that they do need, so that we're not just turning people away. So since the Arizona model was established, these have started to spread across the country, and now they're in North Carolina, they're in Louisiana, Delaware, thank you, Delaware. Well, really throughout the country, in DC, in Virginia. And the reason for that is because people recognize that the current system simply isn't working for people with behavioral health conditions. We have a wonderful continuum here. We have great providers, we have great hospitals, but if your system cannot react to someone who's in a crisis, then you're missing something, right? You're missing something. And so now this model is recognized by SAMHSA. The federal government, a few years ago, put out guidance to communities and said, This is how we believe you should set up a crisis continuum. It included 9/8